The time is now turned to 5:53 on this Monday morning, and here's what you need to know before you go. Some MNA nurses who work at Essentia have reached a tentative deal with the hospital. So on Friday, Essentia Acute Care Hospital nurses averted their planned strike. The MNA said the new contract includes updated staffing language, which puts a freeze on staffing ratio reductions. The contract also outlines a wage increase of nearly 10% over 3 years. Nurses will vote on that contract in the coming weeks, while this group of healthcare professionals reached a deal. Other MNA members in the Twin Ports still plan on striking. That unfair labor practice strike is set to happen tomorrow, and Essentia's East Market advanced practice providers will also set to strike on Thursday. Now in national news, the death toll continues to rise after catastrophic flooding struck central Texas last Friday. There are 81 total people who have been found dead in Kirk County alone. At least 20 of them are children. Many of those children are believed to be young girls from Camp Mystic. The United States Coast Guard have come in with thermal and infrared technology trying to find signs of life. State and local operations also continue search and rescue efforts. Now, measles cases have surged to a record high since the disease was declared eliminated in the U.S. Have been over 1,200 confirmed cases of measles this year. The vast majority have been in Texas. 3 people have died and all were unvaccinated. Measles was declared eliminated in the U.S. in 2000. However, the nation could lose its measles elimination status if cases associated with the outbreak continue to accumulate through January of next year. Now, a beloved Duluth band made their yearly return to Bayfront Saturday night, along with a local opening act. Trampled by Turtles performed with openers S.G. Goodman and Duluth native Sophie Hiroko. This was Hiroko's debut, which was greeted by supportive fans and new listeners in the audience. Thousands of fans, including local residents, flooded Bayfront to hear Trampled by Turtles. Back in 2008, the band's 3rd studio album was titled Duluth in honor of their hometown. If you missed this concert, don't worry, because Trampled by Turtles will be touring throughout the nation this summer and fall. They'll be in Minneapolis in September. Now, Duluth's free outdoor movie series returns to Leif Erikson Park this Friday. The series runs every Friday from July 11th to August 29th. So this year's lineup includes 8 movies chosen after a competitive voting process. So this Friday will be Wicked, and then there's also The Parent Trap, The Wild Robot, Harry Potter, The Wizard of Oz, Mufasa, Despicable Me 4, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Movies start at sunset. You can get the full schedule soon. Now, turning to sports news, over at Wade Stadium, 2 local stars helped lead the Duluth Huskies to a pair of big wins. Former Duluth Marshall pitcher Owen Marsalek helped lead the Huskies to a 6-1 win on Sunday. Marsalek had 8 strikeouts in the win and is undefeated this season as the starting pitcher. He is also the winner of the 2025 Mr. Baseball Minnesota Award. Now, another local star from the high school ranks shining on the diamond is former Proctor Rails pitcher Nick Terhaar. He allowed just 1 hit on Saturday's 7-2 win. Terhaar also has a perfect 2-0 record with the Huskies and is committed to the University of Iowa for baseball this fall. For the full story on these talented athletes, you can head over to northernnewsnow.com.